finally took down his.
Wait.
Hi,
what's up, guys? This is Barrage. I'm the loudest one here, alright, man? I'm doing my best Josh impression. This is my house, alright?
He was about to say I'm the captain.
Joined by my esteemed co-host, which I'm one of the esteemed ones. Dang, steamed food is pretty good. Hi, Ahmed.
What up? Hello, people. Welcome back to another episode of Episode 0. Oh, I received a notification that we're live. How awesome.
Whoa.
So we're going to start from Tony to Warren. Introduce yourselves and tell us what you had for lunch today.
Oh, we have some ordered here.
Yeah.
Yo, if I crash or anything, I have Photoshop like 20 YouTube videos open and stuff like that. So yeah, what I had today, I had my sister came with a sandwich from Starbucks and one of those like cold drinks. So that's all I have so far.
Nice.
Yep.
And the sandwich was like chicken, some like tortilla bread type of thing, and a lot of mushrooms. A lot of mushrooms.
Mushrooms are good for you.
They are, especially when sauteed with something else.
Especially when they're not poisonous, exactly.
Especially when the microwave.
No! Stay away from microwaves! Oh, that's a good podcast title. Anyways. What else did you eat, Tony? That's it?
Yeah, no, that's it.
Hello, everybody. I'm Warren Thompson, and today I had pasta and shrimp. Pretty basic. I had chocolate before that, but that's besides the point because I'm black. Hi, Amit.
What up? Last but not least, I'm Shing Guamito. And what I had for lunch today, I had pasta, like Warren, but it was with like mozzarella cheese.
Always a fucking trendsetter.
Roasted garlic parmesan sauce and fried chicken with peppercorn inside of it. It was pretty good.
What?
we
Gordon
had
Ramsay as your personal chef?
no. We had
prawns, Amit? Did you have prawns?
That's my mom cooking, okay? But the funny thing is, like,
you just hear in the background, "You fat cow!"
This chicken is still alive.
In my defense.
You a donkey!
Wait, I have no defense. What am I saying? No, we had my dad's friend from work over, and my mom made like just so much pasta. She made literally 4 days worth of pasta, so I've just been like eating it slowly. Me and my brother have been eating it. We just finished it today, so it was good.
You can't throw it away. You just have to devour all that food as quickly as possible.
Yep.
Well, carbs do wonder for your body when you work out and burn it off, Amit. So good luck to you, buddy.
Yeah. Actually, I worked out and then I ate. I probably should have done it in the reverse order.
I don't know, honestly. People worked in both case scenarios, so I think we're fine.
I think I'm fine, but you know.
Yeah, I'm still single and I'm fucking good.
We won't talk about any of these dark pasts of ours. So the question. I have one question, and after that, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I guess.
What do you think about anime series that are like short, so like 3 to 7 minute episodes?
Whoa!
Like, compared to your overall experience with like watching normal 24 minute episodes, like how do they compare? What are some things they do interesting or different from the longer TV shows? And like, do you like one over the other?
That's a good one, man. Yo, Tony, you want to take this, or am I gonna fumble it?
Oh no, I'll take it. I'll take it then. Me personally, I kind of enjoy it for the fact that I'm the type of person that I like a linear story, and I don't like stuff cluttering in my story for no apparent reason. So and those short stories actually follows that kind of format that I seen. So I'm actually okay with that because the simpler straight arrow story I enjoy. That's my answer.
Yeah.
So for me, and we were noticing this with a lot of shows too, not even just anime, like shows like Steven Universe and Adventure Time. There's a real interesting technique coming out of all of it. Like, how much of like these 30-minute formats can you actually cut out? And you kind of see that, like, oh, you don't need to see him walking. We can just cut straight to the point, or we can just extend it for the whole 10 minutes or however long the episode is. So it's definitely interesting when done right to seeing like what points can they come clear to the viewer within such a short amount of time. So I definitely like where it's going. Shorter shorter isn't worse. Shorter can be just as good.
Yeah, there's many examples I could point to. One of my personal favorites. It was 24 episodes split over like 2 anime seasons. It was called Senyu, and it was pretty much like 3 to 4 minute episodes. And the greatest part about this show is that in 3 to 4 minutes they advanced the plot, and they also put in at least 3 or 4 puns per episode. And like that was the highlight. So you got a pun per minute, and you had the plot progressing with each pun. So it was easy enough to take in and sit down and watch bite size. You could go ahead and binge the entire series. It was just fun, and you could finish it in less than an hour, which if people don't have time investment or they have time investment issues, it's just really easy to get through. And it was a lot of fun, and they even had little extras inside things. Like they had an opening, a full 1 minute 30-second opening that you would see for a 24-minute episode, but they just never showed it with the show itself. You had to actually Google it on YouTube to find it. And it's like, if you actually like the series, you could see how incorrect this opening was in portraying the show. It portrayed it as something completely different. So the show is really goofy and gag-like, and it portrayed it as a serious anime, and it was the greatest like juxtaposition I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because you can do that. You can create a lot of ways to, a lot of unique ways to kind of connect with your audience, because the thing about these shorter things that I've come to notice, at least on the Japanese animation side of things, is that they're mostly released online. They're not released on TV because Japanese has their own subset of like original net animation and stuff like that. And so what the Japanese are able to do is they're able to find new ways of interacting with their audiences. Like, for example, what I just mentioned, like, you would have never been able to think that would be a possibility, that, oh, you need the opening in the actual show when it's airing online. You can just put it somewhere else, and fans that are interested will go and check it out.
Exactly.
You build kind of like, I want to say, a more cult following, a more niche audience that's really dedicated to this stuff because they like the original content. So it's kind of like putting more of a spotlight on the content itself, and then if you like this, here's all the extras that go with it. And I think that's a pretty cool strategy in general.
Yeah, more screen time to the actual meat and potatoes, right? Rather than the seasoning and everything. Because in the end, like when you're in binge mode, you kind of skip the opening and the ending once you've seen it at least once or twice, unless you really like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. And what I'm noticing, like with the 30-minute format versus like the shorter format, like for example, like Little Witch Academia, the short little, I don't know whether to call it a pilot or a short episode versus the movie. The movie is basically a longer version of the short version. Nothing really standing out. Nothing really higher quality about it. And it's just like I could watch an hour and 50 of this, or I can watch 30 minutes of this. I'm gonna watch 30 of this, and because it's like. One thing I noticed, like with stuff like Trigger and everything, was sometimes fuck Luluco because fuck that shit. Anyways, what I see with that and a lot of animated shorts, it's like they put so much in, like even in the background and stuff, so you can constantly rewatch. It's like, hey, did I miss that? It's like, so yeah, it's like you have so much room to play with because it's like looking at like a still painting or a still illustration. You see so much with one picture, and it's just like you can just have so many images from that. So with every frame, you could do the same thing. I mean, they're all just one illustration played back one after another. So I'm like, have fun. Shit, we won't have fun.
Man, I wish I could add to that because I just saw Little Witch Academia, but I saw them both together, so I can't take them both apart. I just remember everything I like.
Yeah,
but
right?
I do know I love the short first one, and the movie was a little bit less luster. And I wish I could tell you why, but I only remember the good parts.
Yeah, definitely.
It kind of concerns me that the series is coming out now for the Witch Academy.
Okay, so because
wait, I have to say really fast for the series, I want the girl vampire-looking girl. That's all I want for the series. Everyone else could leave.
Oh, she's in Luluco. They're
She is in Luluco.
Have you seen their Twitter? That's all you see. Like her and Akko, because Akko got mad legs though. God dang. And she's 12? Should I be saying this on a podcast? It's alright. No one watches it.
Everyone's gonna breeze over it anyway.
Whoop whoop shit. But yeah, dude.
Black man playing Pokemon Go? No.
Space Patrol Luluco bursts through your window.
Oh, stop. Man, freaking Luluco, man. I'm just like...
So, Luluco is kind of what I would deem to be a short anime that didn't really live up to the potential it had. I could say that. My personal opinion, and I said this plenty of times, but my personal opinion is that I thought it was a lot of fun. But at the same time, I didn't get a lot out of it as I was expecting from any type of Trigger animation. Granted, Trigger has had a few fumbles here and there, but like directed by and helmed by not directed by, but helmed by like Imaishi. Like when that name gets dropped, I'm already paying attention. I mean, last time I paid attention, Kill la Kill, and it was great. But like Imaishi's track record faltered with Luluco because like the writing itself wasn't as interesting as I remember from Imaishi's work. And maybe I'm just biased, but like it seemed way too cookie cutter even for Imaishi. So I wonder how much of a role he even had in this project to begin with. Maybe they just like I said, slapped his name on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Continue.
No, honestly, it was just like for me personally, it was just like the way they did this campaign on Twitter. They had as soon as I finished watching Luluco, I logged on to Twitter or Tumblr or whatever, and I see all the Trigger characters lined up. And I was like, right after I finished watching, I was like, was this basically Luluco saying like Trigger's its own thing? Here's the Trigger family. I'm like, maybe, and maybe that's what it was. Because with Imaishi, like honestly, I treat Imaishi's name when it's dropped, it's like Hayao Miyazaki's name. Like no one watched Max Sex and High Speed. Like fucking that freaking little animated short. People didn't like. He's been doing a lot of little things that people kind of glance over, but they just like, oh, Gurren Lagann, that's all he did. It's like, no, he did a lot of stuff, but they weren't all heavy hitters because no one heard of them, so I guess they weren't as popular. And same thing with Miyazaki. No one talks shit about The Wind Rises. No one. But yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like a Trigger commercial for the rest of Trigger's career. Like, this is where we're heading. We're gonna... And, I guess that's good for me. I like... Trigger's kind of like platinum for me. I'm like, okay, you guys did a few good things that I freaking love, like Bayonetta, fucking Kill la Kill, whatever. But it's like, I'm learning to stay away from putting like the trust seal of approval. You can do no wrong. I will always follow you regardless. It's like, nah, you'll do some fuck ups here and there, but I'll still enjoy what you gave me. So. Yeah,
absolutely. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think the only studio that hasn't disappointed me yet, and I say this tentatively because I haven't watched all of their work, is Gainax, and we know Gainax had a split, and like people that came out of Gainax made Trigger, like.
Boy.
So, I'll be 100% honest when I say like I haven't watched any recent Gainax stuff except for maybe the Evangelion rebuilds, which I don't know why I'm watching them before I watch the actual series, but that's another topic entirely. And like everything previously, like Fooly Cooly, I absolutely adored Fooly Cooly, and Gurren Lagann, of course. Gurren Lagann is my favorite, and then we've got like of course, the well-lauded Neon Genesis of Evangelion, which I haven't watched yet, but I'm planning to watch. Like, their track record has been so stellar and consistent that it's kind of hard to imagine they could do wrong at this point because, of course, I haven't experienced everything.
And, like, is it wrong, or is it just because, like, for me, Luluco didn't hit me hard because I'm like, like I said earlier, it's like I've seen this before. I'm just like, I'm kind of jaded because I'm like when like freaking with this project I'm working on, when it's just like I just want to have fun, I just want to make something so fucking ridiculous, and that's the kind of standard I'm holding up to like people who are claimed to be the most ridiculous kind of studio, zany type of stuff. I'm putting like that kind of standard, but it's just like with a lot of mainstream animation and everything, you got to have structure. I want to make something with very loose and shitty structure that you can't trust the foundation of. And putting that kind of expectations on something for my niche sense of entertainment is kind of unfair. I mean, I like Cross Angie, so you can't trust the word I'm saying.
Or maybe you can trust the word that you're saying.
I don't know.
We should stop downplaying the power of Cross Angie. It's actually popular, in case you haven't realized.
Yeah, I've seen those hentai image boards, man.
Yo, Sword Art Online is popular too, but ain't getting no justice from you guys.
Boy, no, you forget.
Hey, just because I dislike it doesn't mean everyone dislikes it, right?
I do want to add to the conversation.
Yeah.
I have not seen those animes, so everything that is coming out of my mouth, take it with a grain of salt. But I see like the same thing as the creator of a Gundam. He made Zeta Gundam, the best Gundam series ever made. Super dark. It's the Game of Thrones of Gundam or robot series. It won thousands of fucking awards. And after he was done doing that, because he was super depressed when he made that story, his best work ever. His wife left him, his kids hated him and stuff like that. He went and he did Double Zeta, and he's like, okay, Zeta was too dark. I don't want to get our kids depressed or whatnot, so he made a kitty happy Double Zeta, and it was bad. And then halfway through it, he got depressed again, and it became like super good again. And what I'm trying to say is that, okay, the people at Trigger, yes, they make one masterpiece, another masterpiece, but their tastes are gonna change. They're gonna want to do something else, or try to do something else, or their thought minds are somewhere else than where you guys want them to be or where they were before. So if they're trying new stuff, it's like it doesn't. People are just human, and they're not gonna repeat the same thing over and over again, or have the same aesthetics.
You hit the nail right on the fucking head on what I was gonna fucking say. It's like I know I've kind of been saying like separate the creator and the creation sometimes, but it's like we don't know for sure what they think of Gurren Lagann. Well, a lot of like due to peer pressure and everyone around them's like Gurren Lagann's the best. Keep making Gurren Lagann like that. Like they're people, they're constantly changing and adapting and like going through life and everything. And it's like what you said, the guy was depressed. He was making something out of like depression or whatever he was feeling or whatever he was going through, and that really put some kind of impact in his work and everything. And it's like when I the way I'm trying to go through work now and judging like whether I like an anime or not or placing it against their previous works, I'm like, where are they in life now? And it's like and then I gotta consider myself as a creator. Where am I in life now, and what do I want? And I'm at the point in my life, and like with my creative like side versus my freaking consumer side, I'm just like, what I want right now is what I can give myself. I can't keep expecting like the industry to give me the perfect niche package I want. I have to make it myself, because if I'm gonna dare call myself a creator, I might as well make something that's me, right? Like that's a great way to introduce yourself to the world, because a lot of people don't have that Hobbit money to travel around the world and shake everybody's hand, right? So it's like, show yourself through your work. That's one kind of word that's one kind of thing I'm trying to tell people. Like, I want to see you in your work.
Not the reverse. The reverse is bad.
Yeah, if you want to write a story about a terrorist or a serial killer, but you're afraid of people around you like shunning you out, like, I want to see it anyways. Like, even if I'm disgusting, even if I don't like it, this is you. This is great. It's out there. The world will change. The world may appreciate it. The world may hate it more, but at least you showed the world you. That's what I want to see. Hashtag Barrage Crew.
That's kind of interesting, because it kind of falls upon one of the dilemmas I've been having, because I'm working on a comic book, and this comic book is basically a co-creation with my sister. Not really, but I want to have her aesthetic, her feel, and show people her through my story. And then I want it to look like a certain thing, and I want so many separate ideas to be in it, and then I'm trying to do it, and I keep ripping out the page because it's not perfect enough. Like, I hate my sister's aesthetics, but I need to recreate it to show my sister properly. And I'm just putting these rules and stuff on top of me, and I just broke down and I realized I should just make my story, tell my story, forget about everyone else, and just let it be itself. Don't try to be like, oh, I want the art to be like this. No, just let the art be what it is,
Yeah.
and let it be its own thing versus a copy of everything other than I like. And that's a new topic that I'm trying to wrap my head around and go with. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was just gonna say that this is kind of interesting. It's kind of like the problem of like taking the things that have influenced your I think creative disposition is the right way to say it. Taking things that have come in to influence that, and then molding it into your own vision. So it's kind of like taking it and putting it through a cruncher, and then producing you out of it. And the issue that always occurs is like, at least in my case, it's the internal struggle of like I want to be faithful to the source material because this is what kind of I like, but at the same time I also want to make it my own. And I feel like there is actually like a gap there. There's a gap between what you like and what you create, and in order to close the gap, there's got to be a lot of struggle to get to that point.
Yeah, definitely. Like for example, there are a lot of artists who have never played Overwatch, but due to trends and everything, they were like, oh, I can get some quick views. Let me draw some diva. Let me draw some tracer booty or something. Like it's the same way, and people are like. When you look at the greats, considered the greats, the Hayao Miyazakis, the frickin' Tezukas, the frickin' etc., what I see is a lot of people who want to bring themselves to the table. Whenever I hear Hayao Miyazaki talk, he's like, a lot of animators or a lot of anime creators in the industry, their reference is stuff that's already referenced from other anime. I want to do stuff from my life. I want to do stuff from me. And it's like you can see that in his work, and like, and then everyone's like, and a lot of people, like I said earlier, haven't seen Wind Rises and everything because everyone's like, oh no, do Spirited Away again, do Howl's Moving Castle again, do Nausicaa again. It's like no, I want to do something that's close to life because I'm getting older, thinking about retiring. I want to do something light, something a lot closer to home because that's where I am now in life, and I'm like. That's been hitting me so hard lately and everything. It's just like, man. Because creators are people too. They're not machines.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can critique them based off this basis of other stuff that we may like. The Brotherhoods, the frickin' whatevers. But it's just like, those are other people in different times of their life. We don't know how the creator of Fullmetal Alchemist feels about her work. We don't know where she was in life. We were just like, we like Fullmetal Alchemist. Make more of that. Or people.
Guess what? She did a complete 180. Did Silver Spoon instead.
Yeah, and it's like nobody reads Silver Spoon, but my friend was like, "Yo, I love it." And it's like that's the only words I hear about. No one's talking anything about it, and yeah, and it's like I said earlier, Gurren Lagann, Akira Toriyama, for fuck's sake, stop. But yeah, people are growing up. People are having new perspectives, and just because the story doesn't tickle your balls, maybe you're 14 and you like Dragon Ball Z, but if Akira Toriyama draws like a manga about car designs, which he wanted to do since 1984, like.
Honestly, I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think this is why at the end of season 2 of Code Geass, like the director came out and said, "Lelouch is dead. Shut up," because he was tired of feds.
You know. Like, people think they're just behind their office, in a recliner, they're just hanging out casually, drinking some Starbucks, having a donut, casually with their notebook, writing the script. No! These niggas worked hard! How long is Code Geass? 50 episodes?
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of work, regardless. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if people are like, oh, we need another Code Geass, I'm like, that's unfair. These people aren't slaves to their own creations. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. I should make a shirt. But don't be a slave to your creation, kids, and don't make other people pay that price as well. All right. What I'm trying to live by, like I hate Capcom right now. I really do. But where they are in life, the tournament scene is really good for them. If they want to make a Street Fighter 5, 6, 7, bring in that Evo Capcom Pro Tour money. That's them. That's where they are in life. They're fucking failing since all their good artists went to SNK, so that's besides the point. No Darkstalkers, no Power Stone, no rival schools. Okay, fine. At least these things still exist so I can still consume them if I really do like them as much as I say it. I do. So yeah.
And that actually brings up another thing that kind of struck my mind just now. Like there is such an ironic like dissonance between like people and understanding what they like. To give you just like a generic example, people get mad when ideas and entities and IPs like Pokemon continue to make new games, but at the same time they get mad when you don't make the same thing. You know how dumb that is? Like, just think about it. If Pokemon decides to go a completely radical direction in Sun and Moon when that comes out, freaking everyone's going to be in uproar because this is not what we wanted. This is what we asked for. There's a freaking Pokemon that looks like Warren. He's actually a horse and he runs.
Yo, I saw that. Yo, Tony.
We don't want that in our game, man.
He has a little brown on the end of his dreads like I do. I'm like, oh my god.
Yo, he has the droopy like just I'm tired of life.
Tired of this shit. Little calluses on his feet, on his legs like I. Oh man. Okay, man. But yeah, go on, Ahmed.
Yeah, but like, people have to understand that you know, in any given moment, you're not going to understand yourself fully. You can take the journey to try to understand yourself, but you're always going to be constantly changing, so there's always a facet of yourself you won't understand. So when you get on, like, I guess a director or an animator or like a studio's case for not producing the same quality they did in the past, maybe like do a little retrospective analysis on yourself and see where you were when you liked that product. Or maybe try rewatching it, because then you can see if it was really that good, or if your memory created like a false sense of euphoria from watching it.
Like oh, sorry, Ahmed.
No.
And it's also the factor, another thing we talked about, where were you in life when that resonated with you? Like Samurai Champloo, for example, like the music and everything really resonated with me. And I went through a really hard breakup, and it's like watching that and how chill it was really got me out of that slump, and it always did. Like at every time I saw it late, it had this nice vibe with the nice music. And it got me into jazz even more than I did before. And it's like different things like hit different people at different ages. All right, the consumer community or your audience is so ranged and diverse and coming from all different walks of life. You got to be considered, as well as creators. They're the same exact thing, right. And it's just like, when people have this unfair, like I used to, and it's like this week really taught me something. It's just like, yo, everyone. It's like, think about when you were 4. Now think about when you were 10. Think about when you were 13, etc. Like when you're like, I want to be this when I grow up. Think about how many times that changed, depending on where you were in life, or what you wanted to do with your future, because you moved somewhere differently. You met a girl that you never thought you would ever meet. You freaking went through an injury, went through something, someone died. Like, lots of things can swerve you to create in different directions, or not create at all, which is highly impossible. There are other ways to create. But yeah, it's life is like that. That's what makes it great. Don't lose your fucking way, kids.
Don't lose your way. Speaking of that, I really do want to rewatch Kill la Kill at some point.
It is,
but that's just like a tangent. Wow, if I could speak. What I wanted to address is like Warren mentioned when he watched Samurai Champloo. When I watched Samurai Champloo, that was the period when I had sort of broken off from my old friend circle and become like that guy who went through all the cliques in high school. So like I wasn't stuck in any one particular clique. I could walk between them and be comfortable in each one I was part of for whatever point in time. And like literally as soon as I broke off from my initial quote unquote clique and started being this sort of free spirit that could move anywhere, that's when Champloo came into my life, and it was resonating with me because Champloo in and of itself, based on all the other anime I had seen, did not fit in any one particular clique to me. Like I couldn't tell if it was slice of life, if it was an action, if it was a comedy, if it was a drama. I couldn't really define it, and everything about it sucked me in, and that's why I hold it in such high esteem and watch it to this day. Like I make it a point to watch it almost every single year. And like if it came at any other time, if it came before I broke off from my clique, if it came even afterwards when I had settled down, and accepting myself during my high school period, I don't think it would have had as much of an impact. Nor would I have been as angry when Eric accidentally broke my case and ruined it, and I was going to rip his head off. But that's besides the point.
Yeah, man.
I actually like it influenced me so much that I gave it to Eric to borrow my entire DVD disc set. It was that special box set edition, and I gave it to him like, yo, you have to watch this, because me and Eric were working together on a project at that time. Like, you have to watch this so that way we can incorporate this into our writing. And granted, Eric didn't feel like watching it by himself because it didn't resonate with him at that period in time, and it even didn't resonate with him to the point where he didn't take care of it, and he ended up squishing the entire thing, which paid me off. Ironically, 4 years later, I come back and he's living with me now. We're living in the same place, and I decide I tell him, hey, do you want to watch good anime? Because he said he's been wanting to get into anime for quite a while. He wasn't actually big in anime until that point. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, let's put on Champloo because you refused to watch it the first time. And we watched it together from beginning to end. And after that, he looked at me and was like, I cannot understand why I did not like it at that point in time. And I'm like, in my head, but I can understand because you just weren't, it wasn't the right time for you.
Yeah.
And I also think who you watch it with also makes a difference.
Exactly. Like Sailor Moon back in the day, I lived with my mom and my younger sister. My dad was rarely home because he had to drive and do deliveries and stuff. And we just watched Sailor Moon and we drew Sailor Moon characters to it and everything. And that's what kind of carried over to me liking like stuff like Hello Kitty and freaking My Little Pony and stuff. Because I'm like, I hung out with a lot of girls as friends from that point on in my life. So it's just like, I'm like, okay, cool. Is it wrong to like cute things? And then this whole like kind of when I went to high school and maybe before that, just like everyone's around like, oh man, you shouldn't like that shit, man. That ain't manly, man. You can't do that shit, man. That's bad, man. And it's like whatever. So yeah, it definitely depends on so many different kinds of factors. You could be while you're cooking, while you're watching this, while you're writing, while you're running, etc., etc., etc. While it's muted. I mean, shit. You never know.
That's actually how I watch Luluko. Like I would exercise and I would have Luluko on while I was exercising.
Yeah, definitely. So.
Wait, hold on. I want my time in the spotlight, man. Yo, me. Okay, well, it's something that Zeta Gundam taught me was that it takes 8 years to get over something that dramatic that happens to you that makes you fall into a great depression. And I basically lost my girlfriend for 5 or 6 years and lost my leg all in 1 year, and my whole life just pretty much crumbled down to nothing. And what got me out of it was Gundam Unicorn. And I basically saw the model kit, read the book, and then the movie was announced. And the movie took 8 or 9 years to actually complete the whole saga, and that is so special for me because it helped me get through that. Or that's where I was. I was completely broken, depressed, suicidal, whatnot. But Gundam Unicorn was there and be like, yo, you keep on moving, you still get in the Gundam, it doesn't matter, you're depressed, you could use that depression to light the way, to fuel you and whatnot, and just divert that energy. And yeah, that's where I was when I saw Gundam Unicorn. So I love Gundam Unicorn.
Definitely. And I talked about it a little bit briefly when we had our little like mini debate. Like, I think it was like one of the last 2 hangouts we had in a while. Mm-hmm. Where we were talking about Fullmetal Alchemist versus Brotherhood, and just like it came down to a point where it was like, look, guys, I want to hear what you guys think of it, why you like it. I'm not going to I don't want to counter argue or anything. I want to hear why you guys like it, and like, and that reason is like why I kind of asked that same question. Why do you like it for creations too? Because I'm like, when I'm judging it, like, oh, it's kind of sloppy here, it's kind of whatever here. It's like it's even for creations, like you're judging that part of their life.
You don't know the circumstances of how they created that at all.
Like,
and that brings up Kiss Neighbor again. Oh my gosh, that scene with the freaking glasses girl and her buddy in creating manga. That whole
Whoa!
last chapter that she made by herself to give a message to her before she died, I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, and it's just like, dang. The way they did it, it's like everyone had different things coming from it, except Chidori. Dang, she was flat as fuck compared to the rest of the cast.
Oh.
But
We'll get into Chidori later.
but yeah, it's just like reasons why Tony would like the original Brother, like a Fullmetal Alchemist, compared to why I like Brother, are completely different things, man.
Actually, that opens to another conversation I want to have. Why not have it right now? I I saw a video, and what I found interesting in the video, something that no one else noticed, and is why you actually watch a certain anime. If you're watching it for fan service, or you like the reason why you're watching the TV series. And for a big time, I did not understand why people love Brotherhood more than the original Full Metal Alchemist. But now I realize, because me personally, I love stories that is all about the one main character and what they're going through in their journey. But everyone else, I noticed they like the side characters. They like seeing things different, the rotating doors of like awesomeness and whatnot. And now I understand, because the original was all about Alfred and Alphon in their journey, what they're going through, and everything that happens in the story impacts them intimacy. For Brotherhood, you have the Fuhrer, you have the Ling Ling, you have this other guy, you have so many subplot stories that really doesn't impact the main story, but they're awesome characters. They're doing awesome things. And I understand why, if you went to see that kind of like firework type, I'm not trying to be sounding messed up, but that firework display of like characters and stuff like that, yeah, it's cool. But I like the intimate story, because in Brotherhood, I look at it like all these things are pointless. They're not adding or taking away from the main character of Alphonse. And that's why I like the original more and stuff like that. But I now understand why everyone else likes the other thing.
Yeah, and definitely, like, before I was pretty inconsiderate with like people putting, oh my god, how am I gonna say, black people in their story, because in the end
We're having this conversation. Okay.
I was just like,
on. Okay, I locked the door.
So it just came to me into effect, like, what's the difference of making a black character a main character of a series and compared to a white person? In the end, they're both going to serve the same purpose. But in the end, I don't know where people are coming from in their lives. And when people are like, oh, this would be better if it was a black person, who, as ridiculous as that sounds to me, that's them. Where they're coming from in life, how like this, like what they like, what they hate, like everything, how they love to create. Like, I don't know that, and like the closest way to knowing that is actually reading or consuming whatever they create and getting like a little glimpse of why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the little thing I realized. It's just like.
Alternatively, you become a kid's neighbor.
Yeah, yeah, right. You learn like seeing other people's creations. You learn to emphasize with it rather than looking at it from a critique with the scoreboard like you're an Olympian gymnastics judge. Just put it down, grab a seat. You're talking to somebody. Like, that's how I'm going into things now. Like, I'm gonna try to see where people are coming from in their lives now, because it's like with this conversation kind of cemented with me like what I've been thinking for the past few days. What about combine hearing? What about combine hearing? That is exempt. That is just trash.
I actually did want to ask if there was any type of external stimulus while you were watching Cabaneri that made you dislike it so much, because it can't just be Mume. At least from my point of view, I don't think you could hate. I don't think you could hate a series solely on that.
Like, okay, so I don't hate it because of Mume. I loved Mume too much that she disappointed me, and then I hated her. She's like an ex-girlfriend. It's like, you hate her so much, but as soon as she comes up to your door with her tears in her eyes, you just want to hug her and squeeze her and fucking whisper sweet nothings in her. End the podcast!
We got like 20 minutes, bro.
But anyways, yeah, it's just like with episode 1 with Mume, they freaking got everything. Like, I was like, Michelle, is that you? Like, dang, and the Chun-Li kicks, and then we're like, oh, Warren, this is the part of the story we gotta put in the freaking bullshit anime plot. I hope you're fine with that. No, I'm not! I want something ridiculous! Sorry, Warren, you know, sometimes we can't always get a brotherhood with our Naruto animation. Go fuck yourself! I want King Bradley doing flips on an elevator, slicing a tank in half! Is that too hard to ask for?
No, Warren, here's Brotherhood.
I have Brotherhood. So I love Mumei's initial design. Kabanyeri's animation, I mean, it's good. What do you want from that? But
Yeah.
from where I am in life and how many anime I've seen, I've just seen anime that have done what Kabanyeri has done better from my point of view. And I've already been introduced to that type of storytelling style by a better source. It didn't strike me. Kabanyeri doesn't suck. It just doesn't strike me. But Cross Andrew does.
I am beginning to love actually talking to people with different aesthetics for the fact that like we could watch the same anime, but when someone else explains that anime, it's like they watch something completely different. You're like, what the hell did you watch? None of that actually happened. None of that actually did happen. I'm like, it's so disconnect, and we're talking about the same thing.
That's great. Perspective is amazing.
About it.
No. If you're mature, it's great. When you're not mature, it's horrible.
What are you talking about? I love arguing with you.
No, that crap is hilarious, man. With Kill la Kill, oh, it's just fan service. But I see it's a girl's rite of passage, like freaking going through puberty, figuring out how she is, being comfortable with her body and everything, and freaking telling it the trigger way. But freaking other people saying it's just tits and asses. Tits and asses the anime. And I'm just looking like, man, you guys are stupid as fuck. But now I'm starting to see, oh, you guys watch the Super Bowl every Sunday. You guys watch stock up your thing. Don't use everything as a weapon.
Yo, I do love because that's the thing with me with Kill la Kill. I keep hearing like people talking about, oh, they didn't live up, and I'm like, it's really hard to tell a masterpiece story. They can't just pop it out like it's a machine and just ba. Give them like 3 years to actually think of and write the story. Because in Kill la Kill, I love that the main girl, she's crazy, she's uncontrollable, but when she gets the wedding dress, she becomes timid, she becomes like controlled and stuff like that. And that's what happens in real life when women get married. And they're in that situation, they change. And then slowly they have to break out of that or whatnot. And that mimic it so well in the Japanese animation fight thing. And I was just like, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
But people don't see that. And it's like you can't just pop on a machine and be like, yeah, okay, I got this crazy idea. Okay. And it takes time to take all these crazy ideas and weave them into a good story.
Yeah, and it's like when I was thinking about when was the last time something instantly came out, and as soon as it came out, second one, it was called a masterpiece.
Attack on Titan.
Really?
No, people were pretty hype about Attack on Titan. Yeah, it was considered a masterpiece after episode 1.
I can't. To be honest, I can't take that seriously because they said the same thing with Iron Orphan. The masses are lies.
Yeah, mainstream.
Personally, I'll take you honestly if we talk about personal. I don't believe this internet had a voice altogether and they said this is amazing.
Because
internets are fucking idiots. Oh,
because I'm thinking about my point. Like I'm thinking from the point of view like, did people walk out the first showing of Romeo and Juliet back in the day saying that was a masterpiece? Everyone in wherever the fuck Shakespeare lived, because Warren's uneducated. You better call this shit a masterpiece, or you will be beheaded. It is now fact. Like
that. But that happens all the time, though.
Like Picasso. Like who was it Van Gogh or someone? They died, and then as soon as they died, people started liking their shit.
Yeah.
It's just like with Evangelion too. When it ended, was it? So I'm just thinking about do masterpieces take time, or it's just like anything could be a masterpiece. It's just a matter of time or a matter of just the right person to stumble upon it,
Yeah.
or something completely different.
I honestly think it's the latter, to be honest.
And I think the label masterpiece is complete bullshit. Then.
No, the word masterpiece as we have been using it is complete crap. But like you got to think about it from the perspective of personal masterpiece. This is what Tony was saying earlier. Essentially, like whatever you personally think is the greatest, you have, as long as you're justifying it, you have every right to believe in that, right?
As long as you're coming from a point of like, if you say like, oh yeah, freaking Cross Energy is the best. Why? Oh, because I read it on an article. Oh, you're an idiot. But you come at me saying, you know, it was a really tough time in my life. You know, I just love females, man, and freaking lesbians. Yo, I love that shit. Like, all right.
And here is something that I just can't wrap my head around. Why do people have to defend themselves and their choices when it comes to liking an anime with like a personal experience? Like, can it be that because that personal experience, the anime is so great and nothing else? Like, when I've talked to people, they have this idea that like, all right, a series I like is not by a majority of people considered good. So the only way I can justify it is by saying, oh, well, this has a personal implication to me, and that's why it's good.
Well,
and then
I'm gonna drop this bomb on you right now. We live in a world where it has to be convincing. When you say you love it, you have to drop a soapbox speech that makes everyone agree with you. That's how you are justified. Now, I know it's with hang-ups in this group. Yeah.
I was gonna say, because like the whole thing, the idea of masterpiece is just, what can you be peer pressure to like? Do you actually like Kingdom Hearts? Have you actually played a Kingdom Hearts to be like it's the best game in the world?
Right?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII. Who played it here?
I played 6 hours and I didn't like it.
I played half until he dressed like a girl.
I watched Advent Children and fought Sephiroth in KH2 and won. Does that count? Played some Dissidia? Guys?
Cameo appearances. Sure, why not?
So, is it the best game ever? Or do I just like Cloud's design for his motorcycle bike swords?
Motorcycle bike swords?
Because it's like, it just comes down to a point. It's like, it's always got to be convincing. So it takes one man with the Hitler speech to convince everyone. Yo! Himbagen Woblagen Sora Tanlainu is the best! It's like, oh, I agree! This nigga spoke the loudest in the room, so warn the N-word! Shut up, this is a podcast. So anyways, it's like we live in a world you have to speak the loudest, you have to bring the most evidence, but at the end of the day, it's like Dr. Ahmed clearly diagnosed the whole group with. You experienced it. That alone is justification. You got the source directly. You have the proof. It's like, you watch Samurai Champloo. How do you feel? I hated it. Why? Because I'm not into that kind of thing. It says I tend to like golf on Sundays. I'm like, okay,
Fair enough.
whatever. Well, do I agree with that nigga? Heavily. N-word again. Shut up. But that's him as a person. And if I disagree with him as a person, isn't that racism? So should I just put him in a camp, tell him he's gonna be in a shower, then turn the gas on? Because that's what that shit sounds like.
Yo, it kind of changes the story real quick.
Yeah, Holocaust is pretty bad.
I am Sustana. I saw 3 reviews of it, and every 3 review they explain it. Oh, it's trying too hard to be like Chrono Trigger, and I'm like, if you drop the name Chrono Trigger, because Chrono Trigger is a big name in RPGs that no one fucking played. But it's like, explain how this is mimicking or trying to be Chrono Trigger. Explain that to me. No. If when they go down to the mechanics, they're like, oh, it works like Final Fantasy. Oh, this and that. Typical RPG. Oh, it's like in the 90s. But I'm like, but you just said it's like it's trying too hard to be like Chrono Trigger. Explain me that. And why did you even say Chrono Trigger to begin with? No one that's actually gonna play this game playing fucking Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Like we're 2016. No one played Chrono Trigger.
Dude,
No one.
honestly, I miss old reviews back in the day where it's just 4 different people and then they all talk about their personal experiences in the game. I don't know if you guys ever read Nintendo Power back in the day, but it's just 4 different people, or how many, depending on issues, and they just gave their own different scores based on experiences, and then you alone get to gauge from that. It's like, oh, he likes platformers, but he likes fighting games. I'll just buy the game and find out. Bam.
But yeah, that's it.
End of the day, done. Like,
And
and
like,
yeah.
all these people reviewing games, and they're literally idiots. Like this other person is like, oh, you guys made DC Injustice. How was it actually finally having the DC rights? And they're like, we've been having it. We've made like 6 games, DC games before this. And then this other person that is talking about Uncharted and how Tomb Raider stole the mechanic from Uncharted. And I'm like, are you retarded? Are you fucking retarded? Who gave you this fucking license?
Meanwhile, every Call of Duty game gets a 10 out of fucking 10.
Yeah. Because Activision pays them all off. No, I'm joking.
And it's been proven. Niggas paid off. So, honestly, it
You
just...
heard it here now, man. It's completely canon.
Why fighting games get low scores? Because people don't know how to freaking get good. So they're like, I played the story mode of Street Fighter, whatever the fuck's out, and freaking, I just can't beat a person online, so I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. I would give it lower, but I'm decent at the game.
I still want to know why in the hell is Kylie in the fucking game.
Don't worry about it, Tony. Season 2 comes maybe in December, so we'll find out eventually.
Wait, is there gonna be another storyline though?
I hope. I don't know, Tony. I don't know.
Fucking Colleen was a fucking joke. I'm sorry. Change the conversation.
So.
Yep. Hit him with that host spoke.
No. This podcast has kind of gone into two different categories. We started with the whole short anime versus regular anime thing, and it kind of went into something that I find really interesting, and then it's perceived authenticity versus being truly authentic, and how you present yourself to, I guess, the world, right? Because when you put an opinion out there, you're not putting it out there for just yourself to listen to. You put it out there for others to listen to too. And I'm just like, I'm really intrigued by the whole concept, of being perceived as authentic, because I find it as so absolutely unnecessary. Unfortunately, it's how the world works, but you have to put on this sort of justification mask to even have your ideas be heard, and I don't know how I feel about that. It's kind of conflicting to me.
My little journey, I never understood why you stopped doing reviews, because you were so good at it, and you could have done something for yourself in YouTube doing reviews. But now I'm slowly beginning to realize why you stopped doing reviews, because an unbiased review is a lie. Humans are naturally biased. It's part of your DNA. You cannot not be biased. And you didn't want to be part of that cycle, or bring that energy out there, or have that fake, just lying to people. Be like, this is my unbiased review when you are biased. And it took me a while to understand that.
Every time, I'm seeing with anime reviews, it's you see 2 reviews, and then it's a shitty cycle. 2 reviews, then 1 justification video. And it's really bad. And it's I'm so depressed, man. Some people send me some hate mail, some death threats, because I don't like Sword Art Online. It's Amit, bro, you hopped out the game. That's perfectly fine. Honestly, it's people just aren't ready to just, because reviews, honestly, for people is I have to relate to this or it's shit. And it's just it's pretty bad. And it's just they don't come at the point where it's just come at the point where it's you're meeting a new person. Get a new perspective. No, fuck that. They better say something I like, or I'm downvoting this.
I was in a dark place, real life and stuff like that. Ex-boyfriend, really hot. So I was seeing a lot of anime reviews, and for in the anime reviews online, I don't know who the hell they are. It's just random YouTube recommending. I'm like, okay, this story is too generic, but then this story did something different, and it's stupid, and it's bad because of it. And I'm like, okay, you're bitching about something not being generic. When someone actually does something original, you call it stupid because it didn't follow the main archetype of an anime. I'm like, are you fucking retarded? Why do you have 3,000 views? Who's eating this garbage?
It's going again into kind of what I mentioned earlier. People don't know what they like or want. They don't even know what they want to relate to be 100% honest.
They don't. They're looking constantly for some kind of beacon of light. Oh god. Yeah. But yeah, they're constantly looking for that clear, crystal clear voice that's like, please give me in the right direction. Anyone, Mark Crilly, something for Neverworld, Sawyer, please, anybody, somebody. Like, that's what a lot of people, and that's what I noticed that I do a lot too. Is like you're looking for something to kind of occupy your time and something to entertain you. It's like, but that's
Yo,
the way the world is.
yo, I thought I like slice of life stuff. I honestly did. And then I saw Coolie Coil that was all fucking slice of life, and I I hated it.
Denocoil, right?
Yeah, Denocoil. It's a good anime. I forced myself to watch it, but oh my god, I forced myself to watch it. And it's all slice of life. It's something I should like. And I guess I don't like slice of life.
Wait, have you seen just for reference, have you seen Toradora or Anohana?
English names.
The Toradora is the English name.
Oh no.
And then Anohana is the name of the flower we saw that day.
The name of the fire we saw.
Flower, not fire, flower.
Oh no.
Okay, so yeah, those are also pure slice of life. If you had seen those and you didn't like them, then I would understand that you're not a slice of life fan. But the thing about slice of life is that it's so varied, even within its central genre, that it's hard to say you dislike an entire genre from seeing something like Denocoil, like, because it's also aesthetic that plays a large role in how a slice of life is told. Kind of like what me and Morn were talking about with Kisnaver. Shirow, and please, if I got to get his name wrong, Shirow Miwa, I think that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, his art style and aesthetic and how Trigger brought that to life in animation.
Wait, he designed them?
He designed those characters, yeah.
Holy crap! That's why I love it so much.
Shiro Miwa designed all the characters in Kisnaver, and it's just amazing how that meshed and that aesthetic gave the animation, and specifically the way they told the story, new life. And it's a slice of life, yeah. It's got some supernatural, not really supernatural, but some high-end concepts in it that aren't necessarily a slice of life, but it's primarily a slice of life story. And you don't need to like Denocoil to like Kisnaver.
Also, I was gonna say, yeah, it's the way the person actually tells the story, their storytelling like skills, or the way they just tell it plays a big difference as well.
Yeah.
Like someone could just tell a story super boring, and someone else could tell the same story super interesting. So yeah.
But then you have to wonder, and this is based on the conversation we had here. Why did they tell the story in a boring fashion?
Right.
And that makes me think, like, a lot of the things I dismissed in the past, I wonder if I shouldn't give it a second chance just to try and understand, like, what exactly is going on there.
And it comes down to back what I said, like, a while back. Breaking down the elements. Like, what is an animation? A bunch of drawings, like, freaking put together, like, in fashion, made into an animation. What makes those drawings? A person. Who's the person? Some person with emotions, something that can feel love. What are those? And you break it down, and it's just like, then you kind of get a sense of, like, instead of just putting it into an anime, break it down to what went to making that anime, and seeing maybe that's why I didn't like it. Maybe they were depressed. Maybe that's why this anime seems so melodramatic. Or maybe they want to experiment. Maybe it's their first time telling a story. Like with Ruby. With the trailers and everything. And we went through this conversation before. It's like, I see the trailers. I'm like, yo, this is Montium. Like, silent pro tags fighting groups of villains. I'm in. And the color aesthetic. Ooh, I'm in. Mm-hmm. And then when they started talking, and it sounded like a Rooster Teeth kind of comedy skit that you would see on YouTube, I was like, what? Fuck this shit. I'm so out. And then I had to wait for the next Montium action scene to give me a reason to come back in. Then I'm just like thinking back, like, yo, I never really considered that this is Montium, like, his attempt to want to write a story and everything, and and then he wanted to do something different, and it's just like, I gotta put those in perspective. I'm learning to now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like you're allowed to experiment. And really quick on the slice of life thing.
Yeah,
I remember when you and I were talking about how broad the genre is.
Yeah,
like it could be a story about no superpowers, group of dudes, group of girls, mix group, freaking just going out to the grocery market, getting something, and maybe that would last for 12 episodes. I would actually enjoy that, but some people wouldn't. Or maybe you want to do it with a superhero who learns to be a farmer in the boonies, and he's like this type of farming does not work well with his superpower, so it's getting used to, like there's different sorts. Like you want something supernatural elements, something completely grounded. Yeah, there are different layers of slice of life.
One of my favorites, which actually I just finished the last part today, and now I can watch the last 2 movies to wrap it up. The Bakemonogatari series.
Woo!
It's fantastic. It's so supernatural, but every single aspect of its presentation is a slice of life, and it is visually and aesthetically pleasing to the eye to both watch and experience. Slice of life doesn't really get better than that, in my opinion, and it adds so many other elements from other genres too. Like you've got your action elements, you've got your harem and ecchi elements, you've got everything under the sun. Your psychological like dissertation elements, analyzing the inner minds and workings of the characters.
Yo, seriously, let's wrap it up. It's been an hour.
All right, give me like 1 more minute. Like going back to the whole Tony, what you were talking about, like how some slice of life can be executed where the writing is boring. Like Nisio Isin purposely created a boring character. I'm not gonna tell you which character boring for lack of spoilers. Okay. Purposely created a boring character in the Bakemonogatari series that he doesn't expand upon until the end game of the series. And when he does, it blows apart everything you know about all the other characters. Like that, like everything is done for a reason. You have to, and like I'm just trying to understand how Nisio Isin came to that point, and then I realized, oh, he was just trying to make fun of the otaku culture while also pandering to it at the same time.
Yo, adding to that, my guy, everyone that I talk about, they're like, oh, character development is so important. I love character development. I see anime for character development, and I'm like, do you know what character development is? Character development is, because a lot of people hate Gundam Wing, because the main character is the bitch boy in the very beginning, but like, taking a non-likable character, and in the end of the series, making them likable, that's character development.
Yeah.
What's that? Cross Angie. That's character development. And people say they want character development, but in reality, they just want a cool character. From the very beginning to the very end, doing cool stuff. They call it character development.
They want the zero to hero principle, and it's like what a lot of people don't realize. Character development is very subtle. It's not something you put on a grocery list, and that fucking pisses me off when people do that. It's like, oh, fucking Rock Lee didn't get character. Actually, I'm kind of bummed about that. But besides that, it's just, yeah. It's like when Tony or I or whatever, I get a gray hair on my head, and it happened out of nowhere. It's just like, character development, whatever. Subtle happens. All right, I'm going to go on and fucking fap to the internet now. Character development.
Pretty much.
There's like when people say, oh, I need to have a training arc. Oh, I gotta have a death in the family. I gotta have a flashback to establish the character. It's just it pisses me off. Okay, so really quick, do you guys have any thoughts before I put in our plugs?
Yeah, I have one more thought.
No, I'm in. Okay, I saw Ghostbusters. It was not a bad movie at all. I laughed a couple of times, but I fell asleep through it 3 times, so I don't know what happened to the story. How did the guy got possessed? Who was actually the bad guy? It made me fall asleep. Good movie. Made me fall asleep. I don't know. That goes with what we're talking about. That's it.
Yeah, the thought I wanted to add on was Tony's thought. Like, the one thing about Kids Neighbor that I disliked was Tenga, because I liked Tenga. Tenga was a cool character. For your reference, Tony, Tenga was the red-haired Kamina in Kids Neighbor.
Yep.
And
I'm surprised I'm surprised Shirow designed him too, because I'm like, shit, he coming as fuck. But yeah, go on, finish that.
so like, he was everything that I liked in a character, and it was amazing how they had developed him, not developed, more like just introduced sort of like his personality in the first couple episodes. But then, literally for the rest of the story, he stays static and he doesn't change. It's almost as if Trigger was targeting that Tenga as the character that people could like when all the other characters develop.
Yeah, what do you know about Tenga? He likes Chidori and he hates dogs.
That's it. He doesn't go. and he has some sort of weird self-righteous justice or something. But besides that, that's all you learn. You don't understand how he grew or how any of the events of the story kind of impacted him. And that was my biggest gripe with it, because I wanted Trigger to change Tenga. I wanted Trigger to work with Tenga. They gave everybody a good amount of screen time to grow and develop and change their views and point of view. Nico, in particular, like, she had some of the least screen time, but she had some of the most development in that screen time. Like,
did she have it?
She did. Character development.
Next week, next podcast, guys. It's past a minute. Like,
no, we'll talk
we
about
got 10 minutes, man.
So, guys, all right. If you are interested, to talk to us about how wrong we are and how we should watch generic anime like Habaneri every day. Feel free to hit us up. Hashtag Barrage Crew on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Follow our Facebook page, just Barrage. Join our Facebook group, Barrage Crew. All will be in the bottom. I'm working on the Tumblr. The Tumblr is up, but not customized yet, so I'm going to work on that throughout the month. And, I'm Warren Thompson. And
remember, if you want to be popular, become Hitler. Make the Hitler speech.
There you go.
That's where you get, like, far in life, the Hitler speech, all right?
Blame it on the most unfamiliar race of people in your community, then send them to a camp.
Wait, disclaimer, we don't actually mean become Hitler, we mean just be charismatic.
No. If you want to be popular in the webcomics, you have to become Hitler. You have to make your following. You have to
I tried damage control. It didn't work. Let's move on. By the way, I didn't realize we had a Tumblr. That's news to me.
And remember, when you're playing Pokemon Go, go into people's houses, go into people's backyard, get that Pikachu.
You know what's funny about that? I haven't played.
We don't have time for that, right?
Yeah, I'm only level 2, guys, and I've been playing for over 2 weeks, very, very intermittently. Anyway, peace out. I'm shutting the broadcast down.
Thank God.
In the comments, tell us who your favorite Pokemon is, and we will not care.
That guy over there is Tony.
In the comments, tell us where you were in life when you watched your most favorite anime. I'm done.
Okay. All right. So Tony Warren, and I'm Shinguamito, aka Amit. Peace out.